Hello everybody, I'm Cameron Prince with Tesla Universe, and here with me is Harry Goldman, the founder and editor of the Tesla Coil Builders Association. And Harry and I are going to talk a little bit about the history of the TCBA and how Harry became involved in Tesla stuff in general, and what led him to start the TCBA. And Harry, the first question that I have for you is, when did you first learn of Tesla? How did you hear about him, or what got you interested in him?
Well, my first teaching job in the public school system required that I teach science class in the middle school. There weren't any facilities, so I had to improvise and do some research. Somehow the name of Tesla came up, and I found a book by John J. O'Neill devoted to the life of Nikola Tesla. And then I discovered a Tesla Society that was under the supervision of Leland Anderson.
Okay, that was the Prodigal Genius. Was that
right,
the book?
Prodigal
Okay.
Genius,
All right.
The Life of Nikola Tesla. And that's how I first heard of Tesla.
So did that prompt you to start researching and building projects related to Tesla?
Well, no. Of course, when I read Prodigal Genius, it was all about Tesla's electrical work with high voltages, and that was an inspiration for me to do more research.
Okay. So what was your first Tesla-related project?
Well, of course, a Tesla coil, I believe,
Right, okay.
was probably the first one. It was very small and not anything to brag about, but that got me started, and I thought I had accomplished a great deal. It was very difficult. There wasn't much information. You had to do library research because there was no internet at the time.
Sure.
And the amount of information available on Tesla coils was very slim. So it was a very difficult research.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the TCBA. Now, the TCBA, a little history behind that it started in 1982.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1982, there was 2 volumes because you started sometime mid-year, I believe.
Right.
And it ran for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a quarterly magazine, which was a collection of previous articles related to Tesla, user submissions, Coil plans,
history articles,
right?
Historic articles,
questions and answers.
Mm-hmm.
They had members who submitted their own projects related to Tesla, and just a wealth of Tesla-related material. And Harry, tell us about how you came up with the idea to start the TCBA.
Well, the idea was my own, but the inspiration was Leland Anderson's Tesla Society newsletter. He had started it in the early 50s, and I was a subscriber and had met him. He was very knowledgeable, and he helped give me the idea of working with coils.
Okay. And did all that happen in a fairly quick amount of time, or was it over a...
No, I didn't start the newsletter until 1982, but I worked with Leland Anderson back in the 50s. So it was something in the back of my mind. It didn't materialize immediately. I didn't even think about a newsletter until after I had retired from teaching. But I always felt that there should be something available for experimenters to refer to. But I never did get involved in it until after I retired from teaching.
Okay. So was it hard to get started?
Well, the first few issues were very slim, and they began to, quality began to increase when our subscribers contributed articles. I learned that there were people out there who were very knowledgeable about Tesla coils, and that is the reason I started TCBA, to find out who and where they are.
Okay. Any particular issues comes to mind that were memorable for one reason or another?
Well, I suppose I could point out a half dozen issues, but I think the very first issue was an accomplishment for me, because I had never done any publishing. And so having accomplished that, I think, was probably the biggest step I'd made.
Okay.
And then, of course, there were other issues that I can talk about. The very first one, though, was the one I remember the best, because I had no experience. And once that got into the mail, I felt, gee, I've done something.
Okay. Would it be safe to say that was your favorite issue?
Well, I don't know if I would pick one favorite. There were very many that supplied the information so valuable to coilers that I would not pick just one.
Fair enough. So, the TCBA ran for 20 years. That's an amazing accomplishment. And there's just it's hard to even consider how much information is there to help Tesla-related enthusiasts and experimenters across the world. You had subscribers from several countries. I read a number at some point, but it escapes me right now. I don't remember the number, but it was significant. Several countries. After the 20-year period, what brought it to a close? What made you decide that it was time to stop?
Well, you hit it on the head when you said 20 years. That's a significant part of any person's life.
Sure.
And having expended all that time on this one involvement, I kind of felt that I had done what I could and what I set out to do, and that it was time to try other things, such as returning to experimentation and doing some of the things that my subscribers told me that they did. So they were the inspiration for me to get out on my own. And there's another reason. You have to remember that there was no internet. There was no source of information. And by the time TCBA had been active for 20 years, the internet came into existence, and here we had a ready-made source of information for the coiler. So I felt that, it was time.
Sure, that makes sense. Well, one of the reasons that Harry and I are getting together today is we've finalized the transition of the TCBA over to the Tesla universe, and the plan is to make the TCBA eventually freely to everyone available over the internet, as we will be digitizing and OCRing all the copies, and they'll be in a searchable database so that anyone that's interested will be able to access this information, and it will be available to him anywhere in the world, any time of the day. And that's our goal. We want to carry on the legacy that Harry has started, and we certainly appreciate the long dedication that he gave to the project, and we hope to keep the torch burning.
I would like to say just one more thing.
Sure, Harry.
That I'm very pleased that Cameron has consented to take over this activity, and I know that he will do a very good job. In fact, he will improve on anything I've done before, and it will be an asset to all coilers.
Thank you, Harry. I appreciate that. With that in mind, this is Cameron Prince with the Tesla Universe, and Harry Goldman with TCBA, and we'll be signing off to join the festivities here at Ed Wingate's. Thank you, and good day.